Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at Coca's Pizza. It is Canfield Coach's Corner with Coach Joe Ignazio. Week 10, hard to believe we're already at the end of the regular season. Canfield, looks like you guys are heading to Week 11, but you got a big team ahead of you first. Someone you're pretty familiar with, the Boardman Spartans. Before we get to the Spartans, let's talk, Joe, about last week, Howland. Slow start to the game. You guys had a lead at halftime, and you never let off the break. It must have been one heck of a halftime speech by you to get those guys fired up and coming out with all cylinders pumping.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we started as fast as we started all year. I mean, we scored in 4 plays and then just kind of stalled out from there. I thought the score should have been 21-28 nothing at half, but fumbled in the red zone twice. Kind of put our back up against the wall and had to overcome that in the first half, but adjusted at halftime and kind of ripped into them a little bit in a good way, and they came out and responded, which was tremendous to see.
Okay, we haven't talked about this all year. When we talk about turnovers, pet peeves, where does that rank for you on your coaching ranks?
I mean, I don't tolerate them, and our kids know that. And we've struggled with that in a couple phases of the game this year, and I lose my mind, but obviously know it's part of the game. And as a head coach, you got to kind of keep, the ebbs and flows. You got to be even keel and don't let it look like it affects you too much. But, we talk about the results. Put your defense up in bad positions with their back up against the wall. And we've played tremendous defense all year. But the special team stuff I can't stand. It's just being unsound. Some of it's effort, getting downfield and things like that. And our kids know I have zero tolerance for that. But they've done a great job of improving, and we haven't given many up at all the last couple weeks, and continue to see growth in that.
You can see you taking the wind out of our sails a little bit, from the Canfield side. But then again, Nick Berardino has an interception that I thought turned the entire tide of that football game and gave you guys momentum. It seemed to give you a spark as well. Talk about that play. There was so much excitement on that sideline after it.
Yeah, Nick gave us a little spark there, and he's a senior. He's played for the last couple of years for us, and has been a two-way starter, but we've tried to buy him some time on the offensive side of the ball just to keep him fresh for defense, knowing that he's got to be our starting corner. And it was a tip pass, and he was where he needed to be and got it. And he's a senior captain, and that's exactly what you expect out of those guys. And Nick is one of those kids. He's a tremendous program kid, and obviously that effort speaks volumes of his ability.
We saw Gabe Miller bowling make great efforts and I think great strides, and one's a junior, one's a sophomore. When you look at that and you say, okay, yes, this year's not over, but you know what you have in the foundational aspect building for years to come, how much does that make you at ease as a coach and push them even further to see kind of where they're at now and how far you can take them?
I don't know. Ease is a good thing. I'm never at ease. Those guys know part of my job is we always find something that they can improve on. Obviously, they're tremendous young men. Sean is explosive. In fact, sometimes he's so explosive he loses control of his feet. He's kind of like the road runner and stumbles over himself because he's so fast. But he's ran really hard this year for us. His thing's been a matter of staying healthy. But he's like that downhill physical, typical tailback runner for us, and has done a tremendous job. And then you come back in with a two-punch in Gabe, who hasn't run the ball as much because we've been playing him defensively, but is thick, has legs that are tree trunks, and really hard kid to tackle, and has tremendous footwork, but extremely bright. Was state qualifier as a sophomore this year, and tremendous athlete, but tough kid as well as a wrestler, and love that background in him.
Some good quarterback play on Friday night. Enzo especially, you saw him set his feet and deliver some really tough throws. What's the growth pattern been like on Enzo? I mean, obviously, he's playing everywhere, every time, a lot of endurance, but when he's specifically on quarterback and all the eyes are on him, what do you see his growth from the beginning of the season to now?
Yeah, he's had tremendous growth, and you see him getting more confident week in and week out. I mean, when you're the quarterback at Canfield, a lot of pressure's on you, especially when you follow, everybody talks about Brock Lowry in recent years, and Paul last year had a successful year, and tremendous shoes to fill. And I know a lot of that pressure weighed on Enzo early on. He wants to just please his teammates, be successful. He's a fierce competitor. He has taken strides. He's a two-way starter for us too. So tremendous asset to us in the secondary. So we've taken upon ourselves to kind of buy some time for him, especially in throwing situations, and put Tyler Rapich in. But Enzo's one of those explosive athletes. It's hard to keep him off the field, and he's going to find a place wherever we put him, and he's willing to do that. He'll be the first one to tell you, I don't care where I'm at, just want to be out there helping the team. And but tremendous growth. He's gotten better in the pass game. Obviously, he's explosive in the run game, and we knew that, and that's why he's back there. And there's a really nice maturation with him, and it'll be good to know you got him back next year as well, and continue to build off those guys.
As the calendar turns over to Week 10, we will as well. You look at Week 10 for you guys, the Boardman Spartans in the Cardinals' Nest, Bob Dove Field. When you think about Boardman, someone near and dear to your heart, obviously. You know this program up and down. You can probably recite history of this program for decades. To you, what does this game mean specifically, and what does it mean to you and this team in what you guys are trying to leave here in 2024?
Yeah, so we talked to our team earlier in the week, and I told them, understand that I spent a lot of my career there. I'm an alumni from there and take great pride in the school, and spent my entire teaching career up until this year there. But the game isn't about me. I told them that at the beginning of the week, more than anything else, I want to see them be successful, and it's about our seniors and their leadership and the things that they've accomplished this year. More than anything else, I told them, proud of you guys for hanging in there. At one point, your season could go either way, and that's a testament to our coaching staff as well. You watch our football games, our kids show up every week, and they just don't give up. They're relentless. Their word this year is ruthless, and they've been exactly that. They're everything that you want in a first year for me as a head coach in a senior class, because a lot of people didn't give them credit. They talked small senior class, not a whole lot of guys, not a whole lot of playing experience, and they've done everything we've asked them to do and more, and they're right there. We talk all the time about meaningful games, and this is another one, and I'm in it to see them succeed more than it has anything to do with me, and it just happens to be Boardman. The cliche thing as a coach is we got to be 1-0 this week. It doesn't matter who your opponent is. And I think that's where we've shown our biggest growth. We haven't focused as much on who our opponent is. A lot of it was us. They had an understanding that the teams that we lost to have been really successful, and are all going to be playoff teams. So just hang in there, keep growing, keep getting better at fundamentals and technique, and our communication, a lot of it was new. Being a first year together, even though we had a lot of staff stay the same, a lot of our terminology and things like that we try to keep the same, but it's inevitable. There's a lot of change, and they've handled that with, tremendous respect for them, the way they've handled it, and it's a great senior class.
Expectations as you look at tape on the Spartans. I mean, what do you think you're up against on Friday night? And I don't want you to give your whole playbook away, but how do you contain them and certainly walk into to Week 11 a winner?
Yeah, you certainly got to stop the run. I mean, they've been tremendous. First-year wing T, and I think I shared that they're running it really effectively, so that's a hats off to them. And I know a lot of the guys on that coaching staff, and they're tremendous coaches. Coach Doda's done a great job getting them to this point. They're big up front. They've got a bevy of backs that they use, and all of them are talented. So we've got to be able to stop the run. We've got to match the physicality up front. Where they've been really good at is they've jumped on people, the first half, jumped on people quick and kind of had teams playing from behind. I think in the style of ball control, run game that they're doing, it makes it tough. And then they're sound fundamentally, defensively as well. So, it's going to be a battle won in the trenches. And it couldn't be more fitting for Northeast Ohio in Week 10. And what we talk about, the Battle of 224 with Poland, and they're right there on there. And our kids know and understand that.
You certainly have to make sure you're aware of the scenarios. Not that you're just going to sit there with your phone on the sidelines and scoreboard watch, but Are there, is there somebody out there? I mean, are you even interested at all in hearing about anything until the game's over?
No, I mean, you kind of look, you peek week in and week out at certain times when you're watching film, and just to break up the monotony, I'll peek. I don't spend too much time looking at it. Obviously, there's some scenarios that we want to start setting things up in terms of if we are to face a handful of opponents, we get out there and communicate on different places we can get film or what film we would want and things like that. So you look forward to it that way, but probably really won't look at it until after our game Friday night, early Saturday morning. We'll still bring our kids in regardless either way and meet with them, and they go through yoga, and we'll talk about the playoff scenario at that point, and then our staff will stick around and start looking at things for the future.
All right, last question for you here this week. When you think about your team, when you think about essentially you, this is senior night for you guys, for the Cardinals. I've heard that every football player remembers their senior night. Do you believe in that? Do you remember yours?
I'm at the age, no, I can't remember what I did yesterday. I do remember lining up with my parents, and I don't have a real good recollection of stuff like that as I've gotten older. Obviously know and appreciate a lot of my teammates I still see, and Jason Treveri is our quarterback's coach, and I played with him. He's our quarterback, and obviously I've stayed close to a lot of those guys. I mean, Bob Beam and I were teammates, and I'm working for him now as the AD, and I remember more about the relationships and the fun times and the reminiscing and things like that. So we were one of those teams, Bill Bourne's last year, and had extremely high expectations, and Bill talked about expectations, and we were just a group that just didn't live up to it. We started 3-0, and we're ranked third in the state, and we won one more game the rest of the year, so we just couldn't find a way to get it done. But I mean, that's a little bit more of what I remember than senior night, but just the special time with your teammates. You always still get together and have recollections of those, and that makes it special.
What do you plan on telling the guys, the seniors especially, this Friday?
We've talked all week. It's special. Just take it in before the game. We do a little thing in our locker room with the seniors. Our teams and coaches show appreciation for our seniors as they come back in off the field from their families. But I make sure to go through the line and thank their families for allowing me to be their head coach. Usually I'll do a little note or something to them pregame and have it in their locker, or at least make sure at some point prior to the game I walk up to them and tell them how much we appreciate them. But I talk to the seniors especially. Just take it all in. It's special. They can never believe how fast it goes. And when they say, yeah, Coach, you were right. I said, yeah, look at me. I'm 50, and it happened 30 years ago. I mean, you don't believe it. And, they're at that age where time starts flying by, and you look back, and you can't, in a blink of an eye, can't believe it was that long ago. But, we talk about things like that. But more importantly, just take it all in, because you never know when it's going to be your last. And just appreciate it. Most of those guys won't go on to college football, and home's a special place, and Canfield's like that, and they know the support of the community and things like that, and they'll see that on Friday night, and that's really what I want them to take away from that.
Coach Ignazio of the Canfield Cardinals takes on the Boardman Spartans, Week 10, Friday night right here on YSN, and you can watch at ysnlive.com. Coach, thank you so much. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.